pledge today.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us to this table to do the work of the city. Help us have clear mind and good judgment as we work to push the budget for our next year. Be with our employees both inside and out, keep them safe and well from sickness. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention salute pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved second. Any discussion of the agenda? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. We'll go to the agenda items. The first one is the fiscal year 2025-26 proposed budget. Ms. Tanner?
Mayor and council, we're going to focus on the enterprise funds today, sanitation, water, gas, and sewer. And then when we have our budget workshop tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
Sanitation?
Sanitation will be first. And for the sanitation revenue and other financing sources, we're at $1,208,200.
Ms. Tanner, I'm sorry, is Councilman McCall online? She's not? Okay, that means she'll be here probably. She's not, okay, she should be in any minute then, I guess.
Okay. Do you want me to wait a minute?
Keep going.
No? Okay. So for the sanitation department expenditures, obviously the biggest thing in this department is going to be your collection fees, which is the amount that we pay to waste management each year.
Mhm.
And our estimated cost with the increase for this coming fiscal year is $946,630. So that's our largest expense for this fund, is what we pay them. It ended up being a 5.2% increase, if I remember correctly, for waste management. And they always do that every year in October now, and that's based on the CPI increase. It also includes, for salaries, an annual increase from 0 to 4% based on the employee performance evaluation, and that will be effective June 8th, 2026, because the council had agreed to do them all at one time, and it fell where we were going to have them active each June. So what I do is each year I just pick that same pay week, but that Monday, and that way it's for the whole pay period instead of us having to prorate. And then the other item in that budget for sanitation is a truck payment, and it includes the 2022 Ford F-150 truck, and it's loan payment number 405. So that truck's almost paid in full. The annual payment is $7,575.
Okay.
And I believe I included a copy of the amortization schedule for that, just so you could see what we were paying in interest and what we were paying on an annual basis.
What's the condition of that vehicle? Okay.
I believe that they probably all last a good 10 years at least, and then that's when we start having issues with them. Of course, unless they've been in an accident or something else has happened, they seem to last a good while because we're not putting a ton of mileage on them, but they do run with the air conditioner on a lot, so.
Sure.
But at some point, we do have to look at replacing those.
We've got those on a schedule, right? I know we had talked about that at one time, kind of a revolving situation, so we're not stuck buying 3 trucks all at one time because they're all dying on us.
So we try to do that.
Right.
You're gonna see as we go through the budget that there have been certain vehicles that we've been able to keep in the budget to
Right.
replace, and then others that we have not. This fiscal year, but we do try to include, if we know it's time to replace something, we do try to include it in the budget if at all possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen, because there's other priorities, and you'll see that as we go through.
Okay.
On to the next budget. Do you have any questions on the sanitation budget? No? Okay. The next budget would be the water budget, and this is the budget that I did have Sherry hand out to you today, so you have that to review. have any questions, once you've reviewed it, please, tomorrow, you're more than welcome to reach out to me or to ask it during the budget workshop tomorrow afternoon. For water revenue and other financing sources, the total budget is $956,040. And this is going to include Guy's water department and Jimmy's water utilities portion of the water department. So there is a small portion of Jimmy's department that actually is handled through this budget as well. Guy's budget we'll start with, which is going to be right directly behind the water revenues. And that's going to be the proposed budget for the water department. So we call his the water department, and we call Jimmy's the water utilities water department. And this includes, for this year, again, his total budget is $842,042. And it includes the same salaries across the board for every department, is an annual increase from 0 to 4% based on the employee performance evaluation to be effective June 8th, 2026. It also includes meter repair and replacement. It includes 100 3/4-inch registers at $225 for a total of $22,500. And it includes 10 1-inch meter register combos at $675 each for a total of $6,750. His equipment less than $5,000. Oh, and just so you're gonna see in here, under the expenditures, these expenditures are only through August 31st. So you may look at this and say, well, he didn't even buy any meter registers and replacement meters this year. He did, he just didn't order them until September.
Okay.
So they've been ordered, it just won't show up in that column because it's only through August 31st. The equipment less than $5,000, he is including one 12-volt submersible pump for $1,753, one Echo 14-inch cutoff saw for $960, and one Pro Torque trimmer for $328. And you'll see in the budget line item for equipment less than $5,000, which is on the second page of the sanitation section, you'll see that those total $3,041. It also includes a loan payment number 2 of 7 on a Caterpillar 420XE backhoe loader, 4-wheel drive. The annual payment is $25,298. And it also includes one new loan for a Vermeer vacuum excavator, loan payment number 1 of 7, $12,673. Those are estimates. The annual payments, I have to do those, just do an amortization based on an estimated loan, interest rate, because we don't know for sure what the interest rate's going to be. But our interest rates usually do not go above around 5%. So that's where I kind of utilize this 5% to come up with that figure. The items cut from this water budget, and I did this based on Guy's list that he sends me that says what his priorities are. And one of his priorities for the water department was that Vermeer vacuum excavator, so we did include it. But we did not include, we were not able to include two 2025 Ford F-150 V6 EcoBoosts, one Texas enclosed cargo trailer, and one Texas cargo rear ramp trailer. And that was in order to balance this budget. We were not able to include those 4 items. Now, if something happens during the year that we realize there's additional revenue in the year, we would always bring that to the council for approval to be able to purchase in that budget year. Just at this point, in order to balance the budget, we were not able to include those.
Okay.
If you have any questions for me or for Guy, just let me know. And I didn't mention that, but the sanitation budget is in balance also.
Very good.
Okay. On to the next, Jimmy's budget, which is the water utilities budget. It should be the 4th page
Yep.
behind behind the water tab, is a total of $113,998. And, this includes, again, the salary increase from 0 to 4% based on the employee performance evaluation. And it also includes, his department includes the debt service principal and interest for bond payment number 21 of 40 on the USDA water well bond, which is $6,968 this year, that payment is, and that is for the Rolac water well.
These are annual payments.
Yes, it runs anywhere from, this is probably one of the lower payments, it goes up to like $7,500 a year.
It's just a long time.
The USDA water well? Mm-hmm,
Yes, that's the Rolac water well.
Mhm.
yeah.
And Jimmy's here also if you have any questions for him.
Are there any, there's not any, this may be a null and void, but there's not any like grant services or things like that we can look to help try to eliminate some of these payments?
We cannot normally get a grant to pay a loan off, but we always will look for grant funding to assist future projects to prevent us from having to do this. But this was a 40-year loan for a water well. Not normally on a project this size would we go out for a USDA water loan for that small of a project, because it was only a $128,000 project to begin with. But at the time, that was the best scenario and the lowest interest rate that we could get, because back then those interest rates were pretty low.
So this is in reason.
Yeah.
I guess we always have an option, we can,
You can refinance it and you can pay it off early. When we looked at refinancing the bonds here a few years back, it wasn't beneficial for the city.
right,
And right now, probably definitely
Right.
would not be beneficial, but at
Mhm.
some point, we could look at that again.
My only worry is it being a 40-year loan, when we get that paid off, I mean, by that point, it's gonna be time to replace it, and we're gonna be right back in the same.
It's very possible that with it being a water well, that we would have to put a lot of money in it prior to even
Right.
paying it off.
Right, and that's why I'm saying if we can figure out a way of getting it paid off quicker.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be timing with the market.
yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's not a good time,
Mhm.
but at some point.
Yeah.
That's good discovery.
Do you have any questions for Guy or Judy or Lisa? No? Okay.
Was there not there wasn't a wish list?
Just these items that I cut.
Okay,
We did include the Vermeer vac excavator because that was one of his priority items. Correct, Guy?
Yep.
And the other items we
okay.
did cut out.
Okay.
They asked for the moon, hoping they can get it, and we'll put as much as we can in there. That's what they need to do. And then we
Don't know what
put-
you want if you don't ask for it.
Yes, and we put everything we can in
Mhm.
there, and then we also look at it, like I said earlier, if for some reason we were to get any additional revenue, then we would definitely look at that during the fiscal year to see if we can afford to buy something else on their wish list to, that way they're not asking for it again in the following
Right.
budget year. The next item is, the next department is the gas fund. And that's under the gas tab. And total gas revenue and other financing sources is $750,810. We are estimating these increases also for all of these departments, other than sanitation, because sanitation is based off of the increase for waste management. But for water, gas, and sewer, we're basing that off of a 3% CPI increase.
3%.
Yes. We hope maybe we won't know that until another week from now is when we would be able to get our calculations. We hope that it'll be a little higher than that, but the citizens hope that it would be lower than that, so.
Mm-hmm.
But, our gas revenues are $750,810, and this is gas department. Total expenditures, $750,810. And this includes, the salaries, same as all the other funds. Meter repair and replacement, 100 gas registers in the total amount of $22,500. And then 2 larger gas meters at $485 each for $970 total. And 4 gas meters a little bit larger than that at, these are Yes, at $575 each for a total of $2,300, and then 6 connection sets at $27 each for a total of $162. I'm sorry, wrong line item. 4 gas meters at $23.55 each for a total of $94.20. Equipment less than $5,000 includes 1 Echo 14-inch cutoff saw for $960, 4 gas regulators at $575 each for a total of $2,300, and 6 connection sets at $27 each for $162. Capital outlay, and this is where, this is actually a question that Councilmember McCall had one day because she had smelled something at her house and people were complaining about the smell. And what we determined it probably was because this has been an ongoing issue for a few years now, I believe, guys, is that correct? Was the regulator station up at the corner of Griffin and North Railroad. Guy, do you want to maybe explain that a little bit, what's going on with that?
Yeah, the odorization station, that's where Florida Gas comes into the city, and that's where our odor is. And it's one of those things where we've been grandfathered in over the years. The way you're supposed to add the odor to the gas is by pulse. Every so many decatherms, so much odor is supposed to go in. We've never, that's the original odor station, we've never upgraded. So what we do is, we look at this month, last year, we averaged this many decatherms a month, so we set it to inject that much per day to equal it out. So, most inspectors will tell you when they come to town, we really overdo it, but we're guessing, you know, we don't have the up-to-date equipment that you're supposed to have on that, but we've had troubles the last couple of years with tanks. The tanks and the whole system's just going bad down there, so we're having to call people in to fix it. So we got a price on just building a new up-to-date system, and that's what that is.
And the total is $62,990. Now, we obviously do not just have $62,000 that we can budget within that department without taking money out of reserves. So under the revenue column, the revenues, you'll see that we're requesting that we take $62,990 from reserves to be able to cover that. And because our gas system is in better shape now than we were just a few years ago, we would be able to do that and still be fine.
I think it would probably be worth the investment.
And if we ended up determining, our gas department is based on weather. So if we have a very cold winter, then a lot more revenue comes into the city for that year. And if that happens, say for this coming fiscal year, then we would wait until the end of the year. And if we had additional revenue, then we wouldn't take as much out of reserve. It just depends on, we just have to pre-budget for it. And then if we end up with additional revenue, then we don't have to remove it from reserves.
When you compare what we're having to go through as far as repair work and the manpower it's taken to do all this,
Sure, it adds
I
up.
mean,
Yes.
apples and apples, we're gonna be saving money, I think, by
Yes.
just replacing and be done with it.
And we had I honestly was not even aware it was leaking and had an issue until Councilmember McCall had asked what that smell was. And
You
I
can
guess
ride
the
by
wind
it and
just
smell it.
happened to be blowing the right direction. And when I reached out to Guy, he said it's actually been an issue for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's just.
If you ride by it, you can smell the
We
gas.
weren't able to do anything when our gas fund was at a deficit. And
Right.
now that we're in better shape, we were able to do something to correct the issue.
Hopefully last winter helped.
And then it also, so it includes that for capital outlay, the odorization system at North Railroad Station. And then it includes payment number 4 of 5 for a 2022 Ford F-150 truck payment. And then it also includes one new 2025 Ford F-150 truck loan payment, which would be about $8,360 a year. He had 2 trucks in the budget, one being priority, so we include, we were able to include one of them, and the other one we will try to replace next year. It also includes, loan payment 10 of 10 for the gas meter registers for $5,500. And it includes loan payment 6 of 10, and there's a typo there. That should be $6,000 instead of $5,500.
So we're paying one of them off.
One of them will be paid off. And then, of course, if we have additional revenue, which I don't think that will happen this upcoming year just because we're putting in that new odorant station.
Right.
But if we did, then we would try to pay it off early, because that was where we had to borrow money from the general fund to purchase gas meters.
This new truck, is it in to replace a current truck, or is it an additional?
It'll replace.
Replace.
Then after the budget's done with, I'm gonna come to the council probably November with a list of equipment to try to auction off.
Very good.
And that's an option too, and he has, for any fund, whatever we bought the equipment out of, that's additional revenue that we amend into the budget when we do budget amendments with the council during the year, and that can help him to purchase other things as well. So we look at that every year whenever they are able to auction stuff off. And that will be, the total for the gas fund, which is $750,810. And we did include a quote in there of the odorization station. And the last enterprise fund is the water utilities sewer fund. That's just a classier name than sewer, so the water utilities fund. And that total budget, including outstanding projects that we grant projects that we currently have ongoing, is $3,290,731. And that includes, this is Jimmy's department, sewer department, water utilities. And as you go through those line items, most of them are just standard line items, but as you get down toward the bottom, it includes the balances. Obviously, those aren't balances as of September 30th, because most of these projects, we haven't even received our invoices yet for August, much less our September invoices that we won't receive till October. So these numbers will just be what they are now. And for instance, the CDBG in our grant, which is the Peach Street Lift Station project, the balance as of the invoices that we received in August for July was $629,407. So that's what we will budget, and then obviously the total project will be less than that when next year comes. And if, we don't always have to amend the budget down, but if we did have to, we would amend it down to what it actually would be. That includes the Peach Street Lift Station project. It includes the mitigation grant portion of the Peach Street Lift Station project. It includes the sewer Bennett Drive city portion for raising manholes of $9,800. It includes the Florida Commerce Brickyard Grant project for the design of the sewer improvements on Brickyard Road for $295,000. It includes the USDA debt service principal and USDA debt service interest, $49,573 and $25,408. It also includes the SRF wastewater loan payment of $94,300. That's actually two semi-annual payments added together for a total of $94,300. It includes the wastewater facilities plan balance, which is $18,000, and a transfer to the general fund, payment number 18 of 20 for $3,750. And transfer to reserves for depreciation is $100,000. We're required to put money for the sewer fund into reserves because of USDA. So as long as, and that's probably not the total amount we need to be putting in there, but they usually accept if we're putting something in there of a
Sure.
decent amount. So we just transfer that cash into our reserves, into our interest-bearing account at SBA, at the state board. We did, include for capital outlay items, a fence for Pontiac Lift Station for $5,900, one trailer for the mainline camera, $5,900, and then truck and equipment payments includes one new loan for a mainline camera, payment number 1 of 7, $20,390. That was his priority item. Jimmy's priority item was the mainline camera. And we cut a new backhoe out and a new truck out of his budget. And that budget is balanced as well. Do you have any questions?
Was the two
about-
vehicles wish list things or prior, or things that we need?
One vehicle, we were gonna replace the, on-call truck is probably got $18,000.
Okay.
And we discussed that, and he said that if any of it needed to be kept, he would like to keep the mainline camera because it was going to be the most beneficial at this time for the city.
I see.
And then we could work toward the other items.
Now, is that truck having issues, like major issues? Not really, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that total budget, like I said earlier, is $3,290,731. And for sewer also, for water utilities, that department pays for half of the cost of the water meters that we order since it receives revenue from those water meters. So, water pays for half of the cost and then sewer department pays for the other half. So there's a line item there as well for meter repair and replacement. And we're still waiting, we do not know yet if we're going to get approved for the meter replacement project with Northwest Florida Water Management District. I reached out to them last month and they said that it would still be a few months at least before we knew for sure if we were going to get that. And that's over $1 million project, so we're hoping that we can get that
Need it.
because our system is, well, we replaced it in '04, so '04, '05. So. Now, of course, we replace meter registers and meters as needed, but that's very costly as well. So.
Yep.
Do you have any questions?
No.
These 4 budgets are in balance, so
Very good.
if the council's okay with those, then we will move forward as is. I did find a couple of typos in there that I'll correct when I go back over.
If
them,
all
but-
possible, when we're done with all of this, can you do a one-sheeter on all the items that we cut and the department
Yes,
by it, so we can have a running list here?
Mhm.
So we don't lose sight of it throughout the year.
Sure.
That would just help us to know what the real priorities are. And they change from day to day, but we know what they ask for.
Yes.
Thank you and Jamie for a good job.
Thank y'all.
Yep.
Very good.
All right, when is our next meeting?
Tomorrow at 4:15.
4:15, okay.
Yes.
Tomorrow at 4:15, and we'll tackle the rest of the,
Mhm.
okay. If no more information, this meeting's adjourned.